You would think that to become an armed police officer, you would have to be qualified, you would have to be trained and have a certain type of attitude and character. You must be responsible for your actions. However, in the case of the UK police, this is not the case. In the case of Anthony Granger, he was shot and killed by Greater Manchester Police. That officer, known as Q9, had 12 separate allegations of assault from members of the public. He had one complaint for being racist, and had 2 complaints for damaging 2 people's spleens, one which had to be removed. For years, the Tactical Firearms Unit in Manchester has been a rogue unit. It was so bad in 2011 that Greater Manchester Police had to rush in a replacement for the head of the Firearms Training Unit because the current head at the time was so badly running the department, resulting in dramatic failures. The transfer was so quick that there was no official handover of positions, no passing down information. It seemed that there was no prior oversight to the running of this unit. This is a quote from Marcus Williams in relation to taking over the job. "There was none of that, sir. It was all stuff we had to discover ourselves, if you like, by trial and error." It was so bad that they could not find any records of the previous officers' training exercises and the results of those exercises. On the night that Anthony Granger was shot and killed by a GMP, there was 3 officers employed on that night which failed their previous training exercises. Y19, who was a tactical advisor on the night Anthony was killed, was unqualified to do so because he had not passed a recent mass tactical advice course and he should not be employed on that operation. X9, the CS gas canister grenade launcher, failed his mass training course on the 4th of November 2011. X17, the bronze commander who was in the same car as the killer Q9, failed his course in February 2012. In fact, he was kicked off the course because he was such a danger to other officers on that course. But this really should not come at no surprise. Only recently, a firearms police officer was sacked for faking his own training records. In 2016, another firearms officer admitted to lying about his training and was sacked. Maybe this would explain why they shot their own officer, PC Ian Terry, in a training exercise, only a couple of months before they shot and killed Anthony Granger. With the recent so-called terrorist attacks, the police have been keen to promote their love of guns and encourage the government to give them more firearms. In the recent London terror attack, the police had fired over 50 bullets and injured members of the public.
The police have asked for authorization from the Secretary of State for Defence to deploy a number of armed military personnel in support of their armed officers. This request is part of a well-established plan known as Operation Tempora.
See? Wrong house. It's that one facing us.
The Met's armed response teams have been specially selected and highly trained to respond to serious incidents across London. All of the UK's armed officers are brave men and women who volunteer to carry a firearm. They are paid no more for doing this.
Day to day we'll patrol the street like all police officers, and we can deal with ordinary police incidents that we come across, and then should we get that call, that 999 call that the public is at threat from an incident whereby someone has a gun or another weapon, then we will go to that incident. So we are out there all day, every day. Armed police officers are police officers before they join, so they have experience of dealing with general police duties. We carry out a 9-week basic course to become an armed response officer, but the training continues throughout our careers within the department.
During a critical incident, we tell the public to run, hide, tell, but these officers will run in the opposite direction. It is their job to confront the threat, whatever it may be. They are entirely committed to their duty to keep you safe. They do this for you, for London, for all of us.